Good evening, everyone. Welcome to another Tuesday night watch talk here. I am Bobby Legs, your host. We will be breaking down some more releases from Watches and Wonders this week and some other releases that came out during this past weekend. I am joined by my good friend here, Marcus. How are you, my friend? What's going on?
Good. Not much. We'll do some serious watch discussion today.
Yeah,
Got the
yeah. So
Rolex out of the way.
we got the Rolex out of the way. We got some the Tudor out of the way. We got the Parmigiani out of the way. The IWC Ingenieur out of the way. So now we're gonna focus on some other releases that have come out. Marcus, what are you wearing on wrist tonight?
Uh, I decided to screw this. I got. I'm gonna be respecting Speedy Tuesday, so the Silver Sanjay too.
Yeah, the Silver Sanjay too. I love that watch, man, and I love that used to be Sanjay's. I just love that. I don't know why.
That's the
Uh,
second Speedmaster that used to be Sanjay's that I've owned. That's why it's the Silver Sanjay too.
is so has it been more than two watches or just those two?
It's. I think I had his Pelagos as well. I feel like I did a long time ago.
That's great. I love it. I got the Yebion.
That's
Still
good.
wearing that. Let's go really quick, say hello, and then we're gonna jump in, and then hopefully some of the other guys will join us this evening. Hey, Marceau, how you doing? Good to see you, buddy. Bruno is here. What's up, Bruno? Scott Turlo wearing the Explorer 36. Good to see you, Scott.
Man after my own
Welcome.
heart. Explorer 36.
Yep. James is here wearing the Slim Turtle again. Hey, Kevin S., what's going on? Dan is here. Jim T, what's going on? Mods keep the riffraff away. Yeah, we were pretty much attacked after the 10 o'clock hour last night. It was very, very interesting. Um, Underachieving Watch Collector, how you doing? Hey, Joe Chang, buddy, anytime you want to join in, you can come in, man. B-Man,
Joe needs to come on.
I know he does. He totally does.
Yeah.
He pretends he has a life, but he's watching us,
Yeah.
right? Hey, Amin, how you doing? Um, hey, and there's BJ and Steve Timehill. Hey, Amin, quick wristwatch check before we get started.
We're in the paddock again.
Oof, man, I want to hear the full story. I want to hear the full story. We'll save it for
Another
maybe
time. Another time.
another time. Another time. Okay. So the intern is always on my case about the long intros, and he's like, you gotta keep it short. You gotta keep the short intro. So we're keeping the intro short tonight. If I miss any of your comments, guys, I apologize, but keep them coming. I'll try to highlight as many as I can possible as we're going through the releases. I do wanna show one that came out over the weekend that I really really liked, and it doesn't get much fanfare, I think, but it is the new, not so new, or Octo Roma, but they've released several other variations of the Roma, and I think this is a really really good looking watch. Octo Bulgari in the last couple of years has really been blown it out of the water with the Finissimo line, and the Roma line has been kind of like a second tier to the Finissimo line, and rightfully so. But these are just plain good looking watches, and I dig them. I dig them. Amin, what do you think?
I like them. I like them too. Yeah, I feel like they were really slept on before the Octofinissimo got a lot of attention from the media, and I like the new ones too.
Yeah, I feel like the case is very, very interesting. It's a slim, sleek, sporty design. Marcus, what do you think? Do you think anything of these?
Uh,
Yeah,
I was kind of ambivalent to them.
yeah,
I think
fair
for
enough.
Bulgari, it's probably a volume play, to be honest. It's like
Hmm.
it's a good volume play. Like it doesn't dilute the brand by introducing like crappy stuff at the bottom of the catalog. So this can move pretty quickly. It's kind of in line with kind of I guess it's the same group, but like the entry level Zenith Day-Fis. It's a solid watch. You can probably move them pretty easily. Three-handed, no complication with the date. Well made, looks attractive.
Yeah.
But again, doesn't move the needle either way for me for Bulgari. Bulgari is always going to be tied to their ultra thin movements or their Genta designs. So, but a good sort of bottom of the catalog kind of play.
Yeah.
Without detracting from the brand. Like again, brand perception is not just what's at the top of the catalog; it's at the bottom of the catalog. You get a lot of terrible references like Tudor.
Yeah.
It really dilutes the brand.
Yeah, but bottom of the catalog, but not cheap.
Not cheap, no.
They got those
for them.
cheap quartz watches at the bottom.
Yeah, those should kind of go. Those should probably go.
This has the quick change strap and bracelet. Is that new to this line, or is it's been like that?
Yes, I think it's new.
That's always a nice addition.
Yeah, we Dan has an older Octo, I think in titanium or either titanium or ceramic. Very nice looking watch.
Yeah,
and you can really get some good deals out there. I know Shopworn still has a few.
Yeah, it's like $2-3 grand, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Every once in a while, I get that email. It's 80% off or whatever, and then it's one of their watches, and they're still there, and there's I still think great value.
I think these will hold their value better, and I think that's why it is a good play for the brand.
Mr. Late AB, how are you doing? What's going on? Thanks for joining us.
Hey AB.
How's it going, guys? I didn't even put that name. I don't know who put it, but
really?
Yeah. I'm sure. Well, AB, we're going through some of the new releases, and let's jump right into I've been hearing a lot of disappointment on this on the Panerai releases this year. Marcus, any thoughts as a Panerai owner or former Panerai owner?
I still have my Panerai.
You still have it? Yeah. How do you feel about these?
I don't love any of them, to be honest. But Panerai's in kind of a weird space, right? It's like they can't really go upstream without people saying this is Panerai, like not staying within their lane, right? So if they do stuff like this, they're gonna get criticized, and if they stick with the sort of the dive watch radio mirror kind of look, they're gonna also get criticized for not innovating. So I don't know. I don't love any of the designs.
Yeah.
In terms of their complicated stuff, I don't love any of their just two-handed stuff. So I gave Panerai next to no attention once I saw the releases this year.
Yeah, and AB, I don't know if you get this feeling like I do. I'm getting a feeling where in the last maybe couple years, Panerai was making like some sort of comeback. I felt, and then I feel like they've been taking some steps back now.
Mm-hmm.
Not sure what you're seeing as a dealer. Or your opinion as an enthusiast, but what do you think about Panerai, this year's releases, and what's going on with the brand?
I don't know. I think I'm a little racist when it comes to Panerai because I think all of them look exactly the same.
Okay.
I think
I'm glad it went that way. I was worried for a second.
But it's okay. I'm brown. So,
Yeah.
but I think the problem with Panerai is that it feels like the brand they're a bit indecisive about what they want to do and where they want to head. I think they're historically important. I think that there's only so much you could do with one design. And unfortunately, unlike the Royal Oak, for example, which is really successful as a one design thing, Panerai, in my opinion, doesn't have that mass appeal, not anymore at least. At least from a dealer perspective, Panerai they just sit. And I don't know. I feel I kind of agree with you that they are taking 2 steps back. But then again, to be honest, I haven't really been focused with the brand in a while.
Sure. Amin, any thoughts on these releases?
I'm trying to figure out this. So I think I was thinking about what Marcus said earlier today, that Panerai, if they want to make like a very complicated watch, people will say that's not you, right? So then they don't have a lot of room to operate and to come out with refreshing things. And I don't think this new kind of patina case or distress case is very compelling. I'm trying to figure out this annual calendar that they came out with. I don't get it because it looks like it has months around the edge of the dial, and then it also has a month aperture. Or
No. I think that's that Mar. That's
It's a day date.
Italian.
Yes, day date. Yeah.
That's Italian for the
day-date
day.
oh,
Yeah.
I get it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I don't hate it, but I don't love it. You know, it's fine.
Yeah. There's a lot more to. There are a lot of other annual calendars to buy.
Mm-mm.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not thinking. I honestly, like when it comes to Panerai, I don't think of complications, right? I mean, I just want a submersible, or I want a Luminor or a Radomir, and just that's it. Maybe Power Reserve, right?
See, I wouldn't mind if they went there. I think their cases are really cool. So I'm in a camp where I don't mind if they go someplace that's not Panerai, not rugged. If they do a complication and the dial just works, then it works. But I don't think this works that well. This one.
Yeah, and their complications in terms of movement wise, it's pretty rudimentary. Like it's all like Val Fleurier or worse, right? So there's nothing interesting about it.
Yeah. Marceau saying that it would be cool to see a Panerai try something completely new model, like a new model line, a Panerai code 1158. Yeah, Mars Tuesday, right? Yeah.
Sorry, that I should. I did know that, but I'm bugging out.
No worries. No, you're not tripping. It's all good. Okay, let's move on to Elongazon, the Odysseus chronograph. I gotta admit, I wasn't really crazy about the Odysseus. Just didn't think it was aesthetically it was pleasing to me. I started liking it a little bit more when our friend Bobby picked one up, and then I started looking at it. I'm like, oh, this is actually a pretty cool looking watch. And now they come out with this chronograph here. I kind of like it. Actually, I do like it. I do like it a lot. What do you guys think, Marcus? Any thoughts on this?
That's probably the best finished automatic chronograph you're going to find on the market. At the same time, there is not a lot of appeal for automatic winding chronographs, and 145 grand is crazy money, and
plus
Lange
you
is
got to
out
buy
of
a
their
bunch of
mind.
watches to get it, right?
Yeah, and it's 100. Yeah, it's 100 pieces. So, looked at it, liked it, dismissed. Like I just put it out of my mind. That's like it's too limited and it's too expensive. So, why bother?
AB, you've owned a Lange or two in your collecting career. What do you feel? How do you feel about the Odysseus line, and how do you feel about this particular release?
I actually owned the blue Odysseus. I just sold it 2 days ago.
Yeah.
I hate this release for multiple reasons, not because of the watch. The watch is fine. It's just this and the Jean-Claude Biver, for me, kind of shows the greed that really is in this industry.
Did you watch yesterday?
I didn't.
Watch the cold open yesterday. We covered that.
Yeah, well...
Boy, that one getting crapped on from every corner of the internet. The Beaver.
Jean-Claude Biver, I was excited when I first heard that he was going to come out with a new watch. I thought he was going to kind of do something to rival Rejep, a Cribia or maybe Journe, but to just go straight for, honestly, the only brand I could think they're competing with is Grubel, right, at that price point at least. And it's just, besides Jean-Claude Biver and besides Lange, it's just showing the greed, right? And not only that, the way Lange played this, they're greedy but idiots at the same time. And keep in mind, I am very unbiased. I love Lange, my favorite brand. So trust me, this is not coming from a biased, just hate. But this Lange, first of all, this is a fact. These are already pre-allocated. That's first and foremost. They're already pre-allocated. I know a guy who literally spends millions with Richemont, and he wasn't able to get one and was told that they're already sold out, technically. But they were sold out way before they were released, which to me is very stupid, because even if you're trying to be greedy, first, I wouldn't make it a limited edition. I would make it a limited production to get people to spend so much money with the brand, even though I will never, if I'm Lange, I'll never give you this watch. But the price is absolutely insane. And the way Richemont is running the brand now with Lange, this kind of proved basically their direction where they're going to take the brand. And the reason this release pisses me off, the watch looks nice. The movement is nice, but not $145,000 nice. But it just kind of worries me about the future of the brand. You know, I saw it with the Zeitwerk first. After the Zeitwerk, they came out with 2 price increases, like 10% and then 15%. And then now this. So reason it pisses me off is not the watch itself, but it's kind of the state of the industry right now. Everybody's just trying to capitalize on this integrated sports watch thing. Is there
a brand that Richemont isn't ruining right now?
You know, that's an awesome question. And honestly, the only brand was Lange, right? Yeah. Like even right before the Odysseus, I would have said like the one brand Richemont is leaving alone is Lange.
Yeah, right? And they're not even elevating it before, right? They were just leaving it alone. It was just sort of, you know, now it's just like active sabotage.
Like kind of just, I think they were independently, like they just let Lange run independently and do your thing, right? But then with the success of the Odysseus, that's when the suits started to put their input. And you could really see that, right? You could see that the brand literally changed right after the success of the Odysseus, as with everything that has investors, right? Once you start to show success, that's when they want to put their nose into the business and everything and act like they know what they're doing and, you know, clearly ruining the brand. Like Vacheron, I love Vacheron, but let's be honest, Richemont absolutely destroyed that brand.
We were talking about this. Wolfie was talking about this earlier in the day. You know, like these parent companies, you know, we always think of them as ruining brands, but we don't know how some of these brands would be doing if they didn't have a parent company. They might be even more screwed. Yeah. I think this is a bad looking watch. Just that's all I have to say. Not pleasing to the eye. The front, the back looks nice.
Marcel's saying Richemont isn't doing anything for to Bon Mercier, but nobody has anything to do with them. Good point. Okay, let's move on to see what JLC came out with, and they came out with some interesting reversos. You have the tribute chronograph that's totally out there. But well, I think that's an older piece. But some new colorways that it looks like with the Reverso here. You know, the Reverso is always this watch, and you know, it's a good looking watch. I feel, but it's one of these pieces that I'm probably never gonna get. And you know, the brand has definitely taken a hit, I think, in the last couple of years. Like nobody really kind of takes them. I mean, I don't know anybody who's buying JLC. Marcus, what do you think about these releases from JLC and the brand in general?
So as someone who's started into the hobby loving JLC, owning 4 separate JLCs, being disappointed with a lot of them, I've always maintained, and you can go back all the way through all our live streams, that I'm the biggest sort of JLC hater. I think that it's one of the most overrated brands out there. I think that JLC under 20 grand is not worth buying. Like the watchmaker's watchmaker is kind of ridiculous. It's a worthless sort of nickname. I don't buy into any of that. But this, again, I have irrational love for the Reverso. I love the Reverso. If I were to ever buy a JLC, it would be a Reverso, and I think this is a really positive release. The dial looks excellent. They did a really good job on the skeletonization on the chronograph, and they're offering it in steel for around 20 grand. So no complaints from me here. I think I give it an A.
I like this a lot. I feel like I don't have enough swag to pull off a Reverso. I've always loved it, but I never felt like I could pull it off. But I have to agree with Marcus. I've also loved JLC. I had my duometer. I bought a lot of watches from them. From a finishing perspective, you then, like, first you're enamored by, for example, the duometer has such a good movement. One of the very few watches that has German silver in it, for example, that was interesting to me. And the complication was great. But once you start looking at deep macro at the finishing, you start to see, okay, this is not, at the level that I expect, especially that those watches are retail 50, 60K, even though you could pick them up for 20. And then you start to realize with JLC, lots of QC issues, lots of finishing problems, and that nickname, like Marcus said, the watchmaker's watch. I don't even know why it got that nickname. I think there was two theories, but bottom line is maybe because they created the Trinity's movements. Maybe the watchmaker. I think the theory was Patek's watchmaker or something was wearing a JLC. But JLC right now kind of sucks. Maybe they didn't back in the 90s. I'd say mid 90s to mid 2000s when they were creating interesting complications. But right now, yeah, they kind of suck. But that Reverso chrono is pretty cool. I'll say that.
Yeah. And I think it looks very like sort of casual, like especially with that gray blue denim kind of look to it. It looks really, really smart. The gold looks nice as well, but I mean the steel looks really, really good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I'm in any.
I like it. I like the chronograph, the skeleton chronograph. I don't like the Reverso that much. Not too drawn to it, but I think it's cool looking.
Okay. Moving on to VC. Came out with some releases. They have this overseas moon phase and retrograde date. Yeah, I mean, thoughts? I mean, it's just a nice complication on an overseas. Looks great. Probably couldn't get it if I wanted it.
Probably could.
Oh, you think so? I mean, it looks great.
He's
right?
not doing that great on the grades these days, eh, AB? No,
not at all.
I don't think anyone's asking for this type of complication though. Like this on a like a 30 meter water resistant dress watch, like the sort of the retrograde date with the moon phase. Yeah, like that's a complication that you see on some of the all time Vacheron greats, like their platine and all that. But to put it on a sports watch and then reduce the water resistance from 120 meters to 50 just for that complication, that's not a payoff that I want. Like if you were to come back and do like the ultra thin in steel and then it dropped to 50 meters, I'd be willing to pay that loss of water resistance, but not for this complication. Like I'm not gonna get an overseas and be worried about losing it to water with just because of this complication. I prefer the three-hander.
Yeah.
This is actually my first time seeing this watch, and I guess hot take, my first impressions was it looks like it has an identity crisis. Like it's supposed to be a sports watch, but who the heck buys a sports watch with a retrograde? I don't know. I was expecting VC to expand on the 222, and who knows? We still have 2 days, 3 days. Maybe they will. But I'm not. Yeah, I don't hate it. I don't know what it, what it is.
Fair enough. Moving along, and let's jump to Patek real quick. The Calatrava 24-hour display travel time. Super expensive. I am not a huge Calatrava fan. I got to tell you, I really dig this watch.
Me too.
I think it's I just love the way the numbers are displayed around the dial. Loving the combination of the rose gold and the blue dial here. Just think it's a really sharp looking watch. Marcus, what do you like about this?
Love it. Fantastic. It's too much money.
Right.
I don't necessarily like the 24-hour sort of time, but I just love the dial combination and the red gold. They got the tone right on that dial. So
yeah,
I really like it for sure.
I mean, as a resident Patek expert,
yeah, right. I like it. I like the travel time. I think it's neat that it's on a 24-hour scale. Just I don't mind that at all. And I do like with their travel times in general how you can, when you're not traveling, you can completely hide the reference hand.
Mm-hmm.
And I like the finger bridges on the movement, even though they're not finished to any super high level. I think the architecture is cool looking. Sort of looks exploded.
Yeah.
It's really good.
Yeah.
AB, any thoughts on this release?
I think it's sick. I like this one.
Yeah.
I actually like what most of what Patek's doing right now, even though not all the designs, but I like that they're going a little bit more casual and they're going after, kind of a more casual, maybe younger generation. This one specifically, I think it looks really good.
Yeah. Wilson saying he's like, I like what Marcus likes. I hate what Marcus hates. Joey B saying that Patek is pretty, but I'm not reading the time on that thing. Patek Explorer 2 is nice. Can't wait to see it go spelunking, says Justin.
This is still easier to read than the Kudoke 3, by the way.
That's true. That is true.
Are we gonna get rid of that one? We'll look at that.
We'll try to get to it. Yeah.
We'll definitely try to get to it. If not, we'll get it. I'll somehow try to get to it on Friday. Let's get back over here. Do we want to talk about this Samendal Vacheron Constantin Patrimony retrograde day date and platinum?
See, this is what I was talking about. Like, this is the kind of thing that I would expect to have this retrograde on. Like, this looks excellent. I like it. I think it's well executed. It's very handsome. It's classic Vacheron, and it's a callback to existing models in the back catalog, and it looks fantastic.
I think my issue with putting this kind of complication in the overseas is that they did it with kind of the cliche blue dial, and so it's like they took their hypest blue dial sports watch and then smashed it together with this complication. I think it could work in an overseas with a different dial.
Yeah, I think I don't like it, to be honest.
Yeah.
I think it's I don't know. I don't like it. It looks kind of like something Seiko would do.
I'm a little lost over here with the days. Like, if it was maybe on a sub dial, I don't know. I wish there was some texture to this dial a little bit. That's all. But otherwise, I think it's a handsome looking watch.
It feels like Vacheron has a surplus of, I don't know, retrograde movement or dials or something. Like, I don't know why they're so focused on retrograde when I don't think anybody asked for it. I'm not saying this one's I'm saying this one's kind of ugly, but for me at least. But I'm just saying I'm confused why they went that direction. This one makes more sense than the overseas for sure, and I guess like Amin said, they threw the blue dial in there, so just in case nobody likes the retrograde, at least it has a blue dial, so people will still buy it.
Right.
But I mean, this is a callback to much earlier Vacheron references, right, from the 90s and the early 2000s. So could be just a sort of a heritage kind of release. Yeah,
I get that. Yeah.
And the render may not be doing it any favors here.
Probably not.
Yeah, probably not. Yeah, for sure. Do we want to talk about this, H. Moser?
Not really, but sure.
Yeah.
You guys can talk about it.
I don't want to talk about the thing on the left, but just Moser taking a stake in Agenor is I mean, somewhat interesting. Agenor having made really notable movements for a lot of different brands. I think it's interesting.
Yeah. Sorry, guys. I thought it was for some reason I thought it was a release. But I did hear the news that Moser bought a stake in Agenor. We got some handsome red and green lacquered tanks out here, hand wound. Weren't these quartz or no? Don't they have a quartz version of this? And now these are hand wound. Any excitement to this? No.
I'm the biggest tank hater. I'm a Reverso guy, so you're not gonna get anything good out of me.
Fair enough.
Pass.
Okay. I think we're all passing on that. Jinta coming out as their own standalone. Oh, okay. We're gonna have to talk about this.
Yeah, this is
Um,
bad.
Look, I'm gonna do my spiel. Okay.
What is
I
that?
love.
I respect
I hate
Oris.
Oris, but I respect it.
I respect Oris. I certainly do. They're an independent, right?
Do you really though? After looking at this, do you really respect Oris now?
You haven't let me finish. You haven't let me finish. But from this day on, I have no respect for them. I'm totally done. Look, I'm a huge Kermit the Frog fan. Love Kermit the Frog. Follow him on Facebook. Follow him on Instagram. You know, but there's no reason why he should ever be on any kind of like Swiss luxury watch.
Oh, dude, the Kermit is on. I didn't even realize that this is Kermit, the 6 o'clock position.
Yeah.
Oh my
I don't
God.
know if this is supposed to be like a knock on the Sermit or you know what I mean, or the Kermit, you know what I mean, by Oris. But this is bullshit. This is straight up bullshit. And Oris should be ashamed of themselves. Tim Henson is rolling in his Jim Henson is rolling in his grave that his spawn, his kin, have licensed the beloved Muppet, one of the most beloved Muppets of all time. Please name me a Muppet that is just Fozzie the Bear. Okay, Animal, maybe.
Animal.
Gonzo, you know, Oscar
Sam
the
the Eagle.
Grouch, Sam the Eagle, Miss Piggy, the love of Kermit's life. What are we gonna see? We're gonna see a Miss Piggy Oris coming
I
out.
think there is. Isn't there?
Oh my god.
Oh,
Was there not
Jesus
one?
Christ!
There's a
Oh.
pink dial, right? I don't know whether that was a Miss Piggy, but I know they came out with a Pro Pilot pink dial as well.
Yeah, but right, but I don't think there's like a little Miss Piggy in the bottom over
Maybe
here.
I
This is just
think the rest of the watch is worse than the Kermit. I just think it's just bad. This is just even without looking at the Kermit, this is just a eyesore.
yeah. I mean, this is a slap across the face of every single Muppet fan out there to be associated with this watch. I don't know. I can't hate it anymore. I can't hate. I can't. I'm trying to think of the thing that I hate the most in life, and I think, well, patchouli oil, right? I can't stand that when I smell that. This is worse. This is worse. Yeah, that's all. That's my take. You guys, what do you guys think?
We're just letting you,
Yeah,
let it
Clearing the
out.
court. You're clearing the
it's
court.
terrible.
Just
It's terrible.
let it out. I think it looks great. I'm joking. I actually think the Kermit is the only thing that kind of saves it. I think the rest of the watch is really, I mean,
That's how I feel too. The Kermit is the
enough
best thing
said.
about this watch.
But
The
then he
rest of
loses
it-
points because Kermit is the thing that inspired the dial. So I don't know. It's
Mhm.
a bit of a-
Kermit's cute. The watch is the dial is trash.
I think this ruined Muppets and watches for me at the same time.
Actually, can you go back to the macro shots? I don't even think that they matched the color of Kermit with the color of the dial.
They didn't.
They couldn't even get that right. They didn't even match their own stupid Kermit.
Oof.
I don't know.
All right, that's enough
No.
Kermit. Or is
You're right.
Yeah. Okay.
Wait,
All
how
right.
much is it before we go?
Oh, let's find out because it's probably ridiculous.
I bet it's $5,000.
It's 4,400.
That's
4,600.
basically $5,000 after taxes.
I'm on the
Yeah.
Oris site right now. This is 4,600.
4,600.
Plus
They-
tax.
I mean, okay. So it's available in April 2023. It doesn't say it's a Kermit edition. It's not limited,
My
right?
goodness.
We have to
mean,
get
like-
on a wait list. You have to buy a bunch of Orises in order for you to qualify for this one.
I mean, I know our friend Sanjay likes Oris. I I know there's a lot of Oris fans out there, but you've been hoodwinked, you've been bamboozled, because now the brand is laughing at you. You know, with that kind of stuff. Okay. Anyway, let's move forward. Any other releases that you guys want to talk about?
Ingenieur?
Yeah.
Parmigiani?
We spoke about the Parmigiani, the Tonda yesterday, right?
Did we?
Mm-hmm. And a little bit on the Ingenieur.
Oh, we did the Ingenieur.
Yeah. More Patek?
Sure.
How about this?
How about the Calatravas? Like AB was talking about they're getting a little more casual, sporty, young.
Yeah. Let me see where
I can
that.
pull them up.
Okay.
Pull them up.
I think Terry Stern is really brilliant with this. I think Lange could learn a lot from Patek right now, especially that, they're trying to follow in Patek's footsteps. If you look at
this one, right? This was a previous one. So, sorry, AB.
No, you're good.
So they did this, and it was a very different kind of Calatrava, right? This was a while back.
Mm-hmm.
And now they're doing this one, right? Go on, AB.
I'm trying to remember the reference. I think it was the 5470. Yeah.
5470.
Yeah. So that Patek you pointed out with the kind of grainy dial, and the Clou de Paris case, and then the 5470. When they released that, and I saw it with a snail cloth strap and like a red hand.
This one?
Yeah, that one.
Yep.
Yeah, but that's crazy money that no one can.
Yeah, well, it's crazy money, and it's actually it's crazy that they would actually.
Yeah.
The reason why this one meant a lot, at least when I saw it, is because it's such a crazy complication. There's obviously the 5270, 5370, and now this is the 5470 Retropont. It's such crazy money, but for a watch like this, for them to go that ultra casual route, red seconds hand, snail cloth strap, I like to call it the high-low. Essentially high complication than just whatever rubber strap. That one as well, the one with the grainy dial, I can't remember the reference. It showed me that Patek was listening and understood that it's not only the dudes that are, 60, 70, 80 years old that are wanting a Patek right now. Like, they need to start getting the younger generation at least looking at the brand, right? Looking at it, being interested. And when they released the 5470, I felt like that's the route they were going. But then this year, it showed me that, that is actually Terry Stern's plan, is to really try to appeal to the younger generation, not only with the Nautilus or the Aquanaut, but how can they get the younger generation to care about dress watches, right? When nobody really dresses up right now, it's not really that kind of era anymore. And it's by doing this, the high-low concept, and it's, in my opinion, a brilliant move from Patek.
Yeah, because 10 years ago, that would have been an opaline dial with like a brown gator, right? That would have come out.
Yeah.
And probably not Burgundy or Morals. Maybe they would have still done the Burgundy or Morals. But...
Joe B saying that these watches are missing a Muppet.
I can't help seeing tremendous cost savings everywhere with these watches, and then disproportionate prices. Like this one, I thought the dial looked a little bit plasticky. The case construction is like in these separate pieces, so they don't have to weld anything nicely. So this one, I thought, remember so many people are saying it looked like a Hamilton when it first came out.
Yeah.
And then this one took it a step further, where the strap is embossed like calf leather with a pattern. The dial's stamped. It's kind of plasticky. The case went even simpler, like no complexity whatsoever. And it's $40,000. I mean, it's so expensive. I mean, I know it's a Calatrava. I hear what you guys are saying about going young.
It's a super outdated movement, right? It's a super outdated movement.
Yeah, $38,000. It's white gold, I get it, but like zero, you know, I'm just, it's a, the margins in this have to be ginormous.
I love it, and I hate how much I love it, because I think just the aesthetic, like sort of from a big picture, like looking straight in, I love how it looks. But then when you look at the details again, you look, as Amin was, everything Amin was saying, it seems like it's way too much, you know, cost cutting and cost savings here and there, and just for what you're getting for the money, it's crazy money. This should be like a, you know, 25 grand watch. It shouldn't be like a 38 grand watch.
Kevin is saying cool Barton strap on that Patek. Go ahead, Evie.
No, I think it's I think you're right. I didn't even realize the pricing, but Patek and their pricing, they've never really, you know, they've never really had the best pricing on their watches, but you know, like they've always been insanely expensive, whether it's, you know, their watches are pre-owned. But I will say, at least from marketing perspective, I think 40K is way too high. Like they didn't give it room to grow. I guess in the pre-owned market, like they do with the Nautilus, for example. But hey, it's Patek. They charge whatever they want, I guess.
It's funny that it's like faux guilloche masquerading as faux carbon fiber on the dial.
It is. Yep. And then they have faux carbon fiber on the strap, right? Like they could give you real carbon fiber, like embossed. I mean, it's like, you know, what's next? Just, you know, embossed alligator texture on the strap.
It's an entry fee, says Detroit Spartan.
Yeah.
Let's check out Chopard. Man, I know this is a small watch, right? It's so good looking though. It's so good looking.
And that's real guilloche.
Yeah. I need one of these days. I gotta hit the lottery or something like that. I mean, it's just
Chopard, dude. Chopard LUC on the pre-owned market, steal, absolute steal. You get the caliber 96, I think, if I remember correctly. Back then, I think it was Philippe Dufour. He was talking about how impressed he was by the price compared to the, you know, the level of finishing and everything. And Chopard LUC in general, they're extremely impressive for the price in general, like at retail. But then you look online, like forget that Semendal, that exact same watch. I don't know if this is platinum, but in white gold, actually, you can find them for $5 grand, $6 grand.
Yeah, that's amazing.
It's crazy.
I think we saw there was like a white gold one, partially skeletonized, same movement. It was like $6-7 grand, and that was Watchbox. So I remember looking at that before.
Okay.
Yeah, crazy value.
I'll give this one a try. Any thoughts on this one? On the Aquanaut calendar? I mean, I think it's good looking.
Is this an annual calendar?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
you know, I have thoughts on this watch, but I don't know if you're able to pull up Instagram.
Sure.
I can get it.
I have a good friend of mine who posted a picture.
Who do you want?
Horo Mario Bros.
Okay.
That will explain perfectly how I feel about this watch.
Okay. Which you want this one?
There you go. That perfectly explains it for me.
I mean, I think you could probably say the same thing about the Calatrava, like the travel time chronographs as well. It's just the dials are too busy, and they didn't get spacing right.
It's like they didn't care about spacing whatsoever, actually.
Yeah, on this one or on the travel time chronographs either.
Mm-hmm.
What's the movement in this guy?
I think it's the old annual calendar movement.
It reminds me of the old annual calendar. Yeah, the one
Yeah,
I was.
it's a really old
telling you
one.
guys. Yeah,
Yeah, it's a really old one.
yeah, which you can get at really nice prices.
Hmm.
Yep.
Amin, you're getting props from Wilson. Amin is a great intern.
Thank you. Thank you. I've been training. The one that was replaced by this one. They have an Aquanaut that looks like this kind of display, right?
I think they have a Nautilus, but not an Aquanaut.
Oh, okay, okay.
Yeah.
So they went to the old movement for the Aquanaut.
Yeah, because I think this is the first time they put the QA movement, any QA into an Aquanaut, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay.
Yeah.
Or so saying, I think it would have been better in the 42.2 millimeter case from the 5168. Plus, the pin pushers are really annoying to use.
Hmm.
It's back when they had this annual calendar. The moon phase went to the top.
Yeah, and the case is 38 millimeters on that one. So, like the dial, the complications doesn't look like it's just squished in the center. Because the case size kind of makes sense for it. Like, I don't hate this one, actually. I kind of like this one.
Have you handled this one?
Yes, I have a gray dial, actually.
Oh, okay.
And I like it because the case size kind of makes sense to the complication.
It's
whereas
grown
the
on
other
me.
one,
Yeah.
it's a bargain too.
They seem like a bargain. There's this one without the numerals too. Platinum one. But I think I like it with the numerals.
I do too.
Yeah, and I like the yellow gold. For what it's worth.
Yeah, I think all of them. I think all of them are really good bargains right now. And typical Patek, they're not really updating their movements. So if you care about the movement, chances are you're going to find a cheaper version, somewhere else. I think that like very few forget about their ultra grand complications, but very few movements they actually came out with that they made, when they actually do, they really pat themselves in the back, like the 5235G or the 5235R, for example. Calling it the advanced research movement.
Yeah.
It's a nice complication, but I wouldn't call it advanced research. I know it's from their advanced research facility, but still, chances are like whatever we see right now, there's watches that are more affordable that have the exact same movement and complication like this one.
Bobby wants to get the panel thoughts on the Chopard with the salmon dial. The Alpine Eagle.
I like it. Yeah. I think it's. I wouldn't buy it, but I think it's nice.
Yeah, I like the dial. I have to say.
I like it too. I just, again, the aesthetics are not for me, but I think it's a worthy release. It's good value for your money. They put in an ultra thin. They can probably compete with Parmigiani at this price range.
Yeah.
So overall, a good release for them.
Yeah, I really, really like it. I mean, just my skin tone, I don't think I could pull it off. But I think if you have like a little bit of a darker skin tone or a tan, I mean, it's a great look.
Yeah, I think it's a nice watch. Just let someone else drive it off the parking lot.
Right. Of course.
But that's
Then
true
you
for any
buy
Chopard.
Yeah, that's true. Okay.
It looks like they're using Grand Seiko-like techniques to make that dial. The way it's reflecting the light and the texture when you zoom in on it. Some of the high resolution pictures.
Oh yeah, like I see that for
Grand
sure.
Seiko dial.
Any other special releases, guys, that you guys want to hit? I mean, we haven't talked Zenith. Is that you guys interested in talking Zenith? I mean, definitely tinkering with the design a bit here.
I don't know what you guys talked about yesterday, so that's why I'm not trying to double dip. I'm
We did
guessing Rolex.
Rolex,
Yeah.
Tudor, and the Engineer. So anything else is fair game.
We did Rolex, AB, but if you have some thoughts, feel free to.
I actually might have an unpopular opinion. The
Give it to us.
GMT, I don't like Tudor. I have very strong feelings about Tudor, but I'm not going to express that here. But I actually don't hate the white dial GMT because I think that's the closest to the Pan Am we're ever going to get from Rolex. Actually, the Meteorite, I guess, but not really. I don't hate that watch. Otherwise, I mean, Tudor's always decent. It's a decent way to keep buying watches to get a Rolex eventually from your AD. But this one specifically, I kind of like it.
Yeah. Yeah, it's for me. It's good looking. It's just it's a wearability issue. Is it something that I can wear often? Just because of the size. I've tried on the Pepsi Light and really kind of didn't have a problem with it, but it didn't. But I wasn't wearing it all day, so I don't know. Any other thoughts?
Have you heard of the legendary the Pepsi Pan Am, the white one?
Yep.
Yeah, there's like, I don't even know the complete story of it, but there's a white dial GMT with the Bakelite, and it's one of my favorite GMT Rolexes I've ever seen, but I highly doubt they're ever going to create that, and I guess this is the closest I'll ever get to it. So that was one. IWC Ingenieur, I don't know if you guys talked about that, but that price, I've been waiting for that watch for a long time, but I think priced at $13,000.
I think that was 12 and 15. But
12?
It's a boutique only.
12
I think it's 12 and 15. Yeah, 12 and 15.
15 titanium.
Is it just me, or is that kind of insane?
I think it's okay.
I think it's okay. I was more okay with it when I thought that it incorporated like sort of the bracelet technology from the Little Big Pilot, but now that I'm hearing there's no micro adjust, I'm a little bit more lukewarm on it. But I think it's a handsome release. Looks really good. And I mean IWC, even without the micro adjust on the micro adjust on the bracelet, their bracelet game's pretty strong. You've got the 120 hour power reserve in there. It's really thin. It's water resistant. It's got a Peloton winding system. Would I take it over a Datejust? I probably would. I like it better than the Laureato. The Laureato's caliber 1800 is a dinosaur.
Yeah.
So when you're looking at it, I kind of like it more than the Octa. I know the Octa is like way thin, and there's more appeal to that. But I think I'd rather own this than the Octa, and I would consider it, as I said yesterday, if I didn't already have the Antarctique.
Yeah, I think it'd be really sick if they did this with the Ceratanium technology. That'd be so cool.
Then you'd be looking at like 20.
Yeah, I thought the price was insane, but then again, when I think about every other integrated sports watch, aka Lange right now, I guess it is kind of relative at the moment that it maybe is kind of a bargain for a Genta design. I saw the 13K, and remembering the prices of the old Ingenieurs, this just sounded a little insane to me.
I feel like they're positioning themselves somewhere. They've got watches in the 5, 6, 7K, and in the field of integrated sports watches, there's lots of stuff 20 to 25. There's some stuff around where the Octo is and the Laureato, and then there's the less expensive stuff, and they're just going for that kind of mid level, the new mid level.
Paul loves it. He just doesn't think he's looking at an $11,000 or $12,000 watch.
Maybe I'm just everything's just going up so fast. I don't know what's reasonable anymore.
Yeah, I don't know, maybe I feel like it's kind of expensive, but then again, like I can't think of competition at this level that's more reasonable.
The
Zenith
Octo
Defy
has
maybe.
much more intricate finishing, and
Hmm.
it's arguably more of a horological accomplishment. But as far as which I'd rather have, I mean that's harder. Let's do the Kudoke real quick. I got that pulled up.
Okay. Yeah.
We can answer that. Would you guys rather have Ingenieur or a Santos?
Ingenieur.
Engineer.
Me too.
Yeah. Ingenieur.
I think I'm gonna go out and say something really strong. I would take this over every integrated sports watch below the Streamliner.
So 40, everything under 40, 50K?
No, this. I mean the Green Dragon.
Oh, okay.
It's under 20.
So like we're talking
Oh, no, maybe under 30, I
Laureato,
mean.
Alpine Eagle,
What is the
Finissimo.
Streamliner? 20?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
I'd probably take this over a Datejust.
So anything under your Chapek too, pretty much.
Yeah.
I think I agree with that. Yeah, I think I agree with that.
So when I saw this Kudoke, I liked it. When I saw other pictures and realized it's not a jump hour, and that this hand is gonna like once it's here in between the 10 and 11, I think it makes it less appealing. Because these product photos, it's pointed exactly at the hour.
Yeah.
So I thought it was a jump hour, which would be pretty cool to see it flipping all over the place. But it's still cool. I like it. What do you guys think?
I think it's okay. I mean, I'm a big fan, having owned one, a Kudoke in the past. I kind of was hoping for something different. I mean, and this is totally different. I don't know what I was hoping for, but this wasn't really it. Not really crazy when more than half the dial gets covered. You know, and but yeah. I mean, it would have been much better if this was a jump hour. It would have been much better for sure.
Marcus, AB, any thoughts?
Yeah.
It looked really cool when I saw it, and especially when I saw the price, I thought it would be like a killer like sort of GPHG. But then I took a look at it a little bit closer, and it's not that much different from the Kudoke 2, other than the way they displayed the time. And I was like, you know what, solid release, but it's not a best in class or anything like that.
Yeah, I would rather get a Kudoke 2 and then have him engrave the hell out of the movement side.
Yeah, like the Chodoki.
Yeah.
Any thoughts on this one, AB? Sorry, AB. You want to?
Oh no, I honestly don't. My laptop died, so I barely can see it. But from what I can see, it looks nice. I mean, nothing. I can never get over that movement, man. Maybe I'm childish. I can never get over that movement every time I see a Kudoke. The only one that I really liked was a mutual friend of ours. He had like a special one. I don't know if I'm supposed to reveal, but I'm sure you guys have seen it. I really liked that one.
Mm-hmm.
But with Kudoke, I feel like Kudoke 3, they could have done something with small independence. I feel like they need to try to do something really impactful or something that's kind of crazy, right? Like, I'm not going to put them on the level of Grunfeld, for example. But for these brands, I feel like they need to be doing something impactful in order for it to kind of really grab other people's attention, because there's only a select few people who really know a brand like Kudoke, for example. And I don't think this is it, but then again, I can barely see it.
So I was going to say, Rob, you reminded me because you said the dial's mostly covered up. So it'll go from half covered up to more than half covered up.
Yeah, I'm not crazy about this one.
AB, You had a comment in the previous stream about Urwerk reliability. Is that something you've noticed?
Urwerk at the moment, I have a lot of problems with Urwerk. I have a lot of problems with Urwerk. First of all, I have a watch from them in stock, and basically I found out the story about it. So I know the collector who I got this watch from, and he's a really good friend of mine. And basically, Urwerk, it's the reference. Tell you the reference, but anyway, Urwerk did a recall allegedly on that watch, and they basically refused to service that watch. Refused to. There's nothing wrong with it; it works fine, but it needs an oil change, I guess. It needs to be serviced, and then they refused to service it at Sotheby's. And then my friend, he didn't realize that, and then when I tried to get connected, they basically won't service the watch. And to me, that was my first red flag, because I like Urwerk. You know, me and you, Amin, we talked about Urwerk probably 4 or 5 months ago.
Yeah.
But this is all recent.
Okay.
And first of all, when you have a brand, an independent brand that says that they're not going to service a watch that they created, that's absolutely absurd to me. Like the fact that we're buying independence already puts us at risk that what if this independent, you know, whatever happens to the business, like we'll get stuck with this watch, especially more complicated stuff or stuff like in Urwerk. Not any watchmaker could fix that. First of all, the fact that they refuse to service something they created is absolutely absurd to me. Second, the amount of Urwerks I've sold so far, every single one of them had a problem and had to come back to me for me to address, which is fine. But then it showed me that no matter what, and some of these were newer, one was brand spanking new, but all of them seem to have reliability issues, right? And I don't think it's user error, because there's not really much you can do to damage the watch. But I just noticed that Urwerk by far, so far, is the brand I could confidently say is my number one most return to repair brand. Adding to that situation just really put
why did they not why were they not willing to service the watch? Did they say like it had been tampered with, or like did they give a reason, or they just
no, it's the entire line. So let me get the reference for you.
Okay.
So
all right.
so that you know.
It's bizarre.
I don't like promoting myself. That's why I don't want you guys to pull up the website, but I could only get the reference from there.
If they make something that's unfixable, I feel like they should have a trade-in program to say.
Yeah, that's what I said.
Yeah.
And no response. It's a long story, but basically it's the UR201. And it's not this specific watch that I have. It is the entire UR201 collection, apparently, that they will not service. And there was a quote-unquote recall on it. And I guess they just won't service it. And to me, if I have to recommend brands...
Cool looking watch.
It is a cool looking watch.
It's one with a needle, right? Where the thing twists around. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
And to me, at least, actually, is this Christie's? Go down. Read in their description.
Working well currently. Unable to service or repair this watch anymore.
Yeah. To me, that's why anytime I see an Urwerk, I don't care how cool they are. I don't care whatever. If there is an independent watch brand out there that will do something like this, I cannot recommend it to anyone, because you're screwed. And this is not a cheap watch, you know, and for them to just one day decide, oh yeah, we're not going to fix this, is absurd to me. That is my biggest issue with Urwerk. The newest one that they created is butt ugly, but that's besides the point. A brand like this, I'm all for supporting independence. Majority of my personal collection right now is independence. But when you support these independents, you also expect them to have a level of, to show you that they're going to have a good future with their brand, and they're not just going to dump it. And for me, this is just a little bit of actually, it's a big red flag when you refuse to service your own watch and there's no explanation, by the way. You guys can try to have this one service for me. And if you do, like, I'll be shocked, because I've been trying to basically explain my point is that, look, I cannot understand why this is a watch. It's not like it's an old watch either, or vintage watch. That this is something you guys refuse to service. So if anybody buys an Urwerk, and this is me saying this, publicly, be cautious, because
that's good to know. Yeah. For sure. Any other watches we missed, guys?
Well, if we miss any, we can wrap it up on Friday. I think we covered a lot of the bases. I'm not sure if there's going to be any more releases in the next couple of days. If they are, we will hit on it on Friday.
Did Breitling release anything? Or did I imagine
Yeah, they didn't. Didn't they come up with some car-related type chronos, or another set of those?
Breitling
They came out with the Premier, that chrono that looks like a Lange. They have a blue dial.
Yeah,
I
think
with a bracelet.
I think PETA Not So Obvious Watches came up with this video, so maybe we shouldn't give our obvious thoughts on it.
Silly.
Yeah, this can probably wait until Friday.
Yeah, it can wait till Friday.
There's still
novelties.
I have a question for you guys. There's something, because I followed Watches and Wonders very late, and there's something I noticed. Rolex isn't done yet, right? Because I thought that there was going to be subs, but there wasn't. At least maybe I missed it, but there wasn't any subs. This year's the 60th anniversary, right?
Right. I mean, if you go on their site, I mean, it's still the same old sub lineup, right? So I don't know if they're skipping, or maybe it's going to be a release later in the year. But I think they're done, for at least for Watches and Wonders' sake.
Yeah. Because I was just comparing, because 1953. So I thought that they were going to do something. I thought they were going to do a titanium sub, but
they might do something, right? They may just want to have it with its own spotlight, right? You know what I mean? They don't want to release it with
something in September.
I'm sorry.
Something in September, maybe.
Yeah. They probably don't want. I mean, I would think, like, I want to have like a standalone release for the sub because of the anniversary and how important and iconic that watch is. I'm not going to put it together with all these other releases that are new, that are on Watches and Wonders. So I could see them, later in the year, September, doing something special for the sub.
Or wait for Omega to do all their releases, and then the next week.
Yeah. right after Omega does it. Well, guys. Anyway, thank you so much, Marcus, Amin, and Abi for joining us this evening and getting your thoughts on the releases and Watches and Wonders chat. Thank you so much for your participation. Really, really appreciate that.
Thank you, Mods.
And thanks, Mods. Yeah, for sure.
Thanks, intern.
And thank you, intern Amin, my new intern, trying out this evening.
Oh, I meant the other intern.
Okay.
Not thinking myself here.
And whatever we miss, we'll wrap it up on Friday. Guys, have a good evening, and we'll see you Friday. Take care.
Good night.
Good night.
See you guys.